There's a certain moment, silent and cruel, when everything you thought was solid suddenly crumbles beneath you. One minute, you're planning tomorrow together, the next, you're staring at a phone screen that won't light up, feeling like a ghost in your own life. Maybe he left suddenly. Maybe you felt yourself being replaced, faded out like an old photograph. You look in the mirror and wonder if you were ever enough. Maybe you scroll through old messages, desperate for a clue, an answer, some closure that never comes. If you're listening to this, I want you to know, I see you. Your pain is real. The silence he left behind is real. But what you do right now, this moment of emptiness, will define the rest of your story. Most people, when abandoned, do the same thing. They chase. They beg for explanations, they justify, they send long messages that go unread, convincing themselves that love can be argued, that worthiness can be proven. But every time you chase, every time you try to win back what has already walked away, you don't just lose him. You lose yourself. You water dead flowers, hoping they'll bloom again. The question isn't why he left or who he's with now. The real question is, who will you become after the loss? It's a trap almost everyone falls into, the urge to make someone see your worth, the desire to change their mind. Maybe you tell yourself, if I just explain, if I just show him my pain, maybe he'll understand. But the more you chase, the faster they run. Desperation, no matter how well disguised, is always loud. It's written in the double texts, the late-night calls, the social media stalking. You give away your power, one anxious gesture at a time, until you become a stranger to yourself. The phone becomes an extension of your pain. Every notification is a jolt of hope, every silence another wound. You scroll through his online activity, trying to read between the lines, searching for clues that only deepen the ache. But I'm here to tell you, this is not how you get love back. This is how you lose your dignity. This is how you trade self-respect for crumbs of attention. So what's the alternative? How do you break the cycle? You start by realizing that the chase is not about him at all. It's about a version of yourself that's terrified of being alone, a part of you that still confuses rejection with unworthiness. The moment you stop chasing, you stop bleeding energy. You stop telling the world and yourself that you need someone else to be whole. And that, right there, is where the real journey begins. Emotional silence isn't just absence. It's a powerful presence. When you finally stop explaining, stop reaching out, stop filling the void with noise, you begin to reclaim your energy. Imagine for a second, what if your silence could speak louder than your words? What if, instead of chasing him, you let your absence do the talking? It's tempting to believe that if you're quiet, you'll be forgotten. But in reality, silence is a message he can't ignore. People are used to your constant presence, your availability, your texts that arrive before he even misses you. When you pull that away, you create a space that demands attention. The human mind hates uncertainty. The absence becomes a question mark in his mind, a void he instinctively tries to fill. Silence is not surrender. It's not a retreat. It's the beginning of you choosing yourself. It's proof that you can live with your own company, that you're not afraid of your own thoughts. When you stop explaining, you stop feeding the dynamic that caused you pain in the first place. Your absence becomes a statement. I am more than your validation. I am enough, even alone. Strategic detachment isn't coldness. It's wisdom. It's recognizing that love cannot be begged for, only attracted by genuine presence. When you detach, you're not erasing the past, but you're refusing to let it dictate your future. You're not punishing him, you're freeing yourself. The world will try to tell you that letting go is giving up. But the truth is, letting go is the bravest thing you can do. It means you're ready to stop holding on to memories that only keep you stuck. It means you're ready to make space for yourself, for your own healing, for new growth. Detachment is an act of self-respect. It's looking in the mirror and saying, I choose me. You don't have to hate him. You don't have to seek revenge. You just need to put yourself first. With every step away from someone who took you for granted, you take a step closer to the woman you're meant to become. There's a law in psychology and in life that's impossible to escape. What is rare becomes valuable. When you were always available, always ready to respond, your presence became a background noise, taken for granted, unnoticed. But when you become scarce, when your energy is no longer on tap, everything changes. Think about the air you breathe. You barely notice it until it's gone. The same applies to your attention, your love, your energy. When you pull away, he starts to notice the silence. He begins to remember the comfort of your presence, the way you listened, the way you cared. Suddenly, what was once ignored becomes something he wants, maybe even needs. But scarcity isn't about playing games. It's about honoring your worth. It's about understanding that your love is not a discount item at a store. It's valuable and it must be earned. When you learn to be scarce, you learn to value yourself. Pain is not your enemy. In fact, pain is often the first sign that something inside you is ready to change. The heartbreak, the loneliness, the fear of never being loved again. These feelings are not meant to destroy you. They're meant to wake you up. You see, pain is a teacher. It strips away illusions, reveals your deepest insecurities, and forces you to confront the parts of yourself that need healing. The night you cried yourself to sleep, the mornings you woke up empty, these are the moments your soul began its rebirth. You might not see it now, but every tear has a purpose. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" Use the pain as fuel. Use it to rebuild. Start small, one habit at a time, one boundary at a time. Transform the ashes of heartbreak into the bricks of your new life. The real work begins when you stop trying to fix someone else and start fixing yourself. Maybe you've lost sight of your passions, your goals, your sense of who you are outside the relationship. Now is the time to reclaim that. Start with your body. Move, stretch, walk, run. Whatever gets you out of your head and back into your life. Invest in your mind. Read, learn, discover, challenge yourself. Find the hobbies you left behind. Reconnect with friends you've ignored. This is not about distracting yourself from the pain. It's about rebuilding the parts of yourself that were neglected. As you grow stronger, something beautiful happens. You stop looking back. The focus shifts from, "How do I get him back?" to, "How do I get myself back?" Every day you choose yourself is a day you reclaim your power. There's a shift that happens inside you when you stop begging for someone's attention and start commanding respect with your silence. You're no longer the chaser. You become the chooser. The power dynamic flips. You are no longer waiting for a text, but deciding who deserves your energy. It's a quiet confidence, an energy shift. People start to notice. Friends comment on how you've changed. Even he feels the difference, sometimes from miles away. Your self-worth is no longer tied to someone else's approval. You stand taller. You smile for yourself, not for a response. This is the woman who cannot be ignored. The woman who knows her value. The woman who would rather be alone than with someone who doesn't see her worth. And that, ironically, is when people start coming back. Because true power is magnetic. Human nature is strange. The moment you pull away, people want to come closer. When you stop reaching out, you create a void, a mystery. He wonders where you went, why you're no longer available, what changed. This isn't manipulation. It's simply the reality of how desire works. When you're always present, you become predictable. When you disappear, you become a question. Curiosity is the first step to obsession. The same mind that ignored you now replays your absence. He checks your social media, asks about you, maybe even invents reasons to contact you. But here's the key, don't fall for it. The goal isn't to get him back. The goal is to become so secure in yourself that whether he returns or not, you don't lose yourself again. True independence is the most attractive quality there is. When you no longer need someone, they feel it, and it changes everything. Everyone seeks closure after a breakup. We think that if we can just have one last conversation, one clear answer, we'll be able to move on. But closure is often an illusion. More often than not, the answers you're searching for won't heal you. They might even hurt you more. The real closure comes from within. It's the day you stop needing an apology. The day you stop checking his profile. The day you forgive yourself for what you didn't know then. Self-validation is realizing you are not defined by someone's decision to stay or leave. You are defined by how you rebuild, by how you choose to love yourself after the storm. Write your own ending. Don't wait for someone else to grant you permission to heal. The power to move on is yours, and yours alone. There's a special kind of magnetism in a woman who is healed. It's quiet, yet impossible to ignore. She's not loud, not desperate for attention, not performing for anyone's approval. She simply is centered, present, whole. People are drawn to her energy because it's authentic. She radiates peace because she's made peace with her past. She doesn't hide her scars, but she doesn't let them define her either. She walks into a room and owns her space. Not because she needs validation, but because she's finally validated herself. Men feel it. Friends feel it. Even strangers sense it. This is the result of inner work, the reward for refusing to settle, for surviving the nights alone, for building herself from the ground up. This is the woman no one can replace. The hardest part about letting go isn't the loneliness. It's the uncertainty. Will he come back? Will I ever be loved again? What if I'm alone forever? These questions can haunt you if you let them. But uncertainty, when embraced, can become your greatest teacher. Instead of fighting the unknown, lean into it. Use it as a space for growth, for self-discovery. Every time you resist the urge to reach out, you become stronger. Every time you sit with your anxiety and choose not to react, you learn patience, resilience, and trust in yourself. Uncertainty is where life happens. It's the space between what was and what will be. Don't rush it. Allow yourself to be remade in the silence. You'll come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and more sure of your own value than ever before. It happens more often than you'd think. Once you truly let go, once you've rebuilt your life, he comes back. Sometimes it's a text, sometimes a phone call, sometimes an accidental run-in. Suddenly, the person who once ignored you wants another chance. He feels your absence. He sees your transformation. But here's the thing, when you've done the work, you're not the same woman he left. You're not waiting by the phone. You're not hungry for validation. You're standing on your own, proud and whole. If he returns, it's no longer about him choosing you. It's about you deciding if he's worthy of the new life you've built. Sometimes you'll choose to let him in. Sometimes you'll realize you've outgrown him. Either way, the power is yours. In the end, the love you were searching for wasn't his. It was your own. The journey through heartbreak, the silence, the detachment, the rebuilding, all of it led you back to yourself. You realize now, you were never truly alone. You always had yourself. The love that lasts is the love you cultivate within. The real prize isn't getting someone back, but never losing yourself again. You understand now that the relationship was just a chapter, not your whole story. The best part? You get to write the next one. You no longer chase. You choose. You no longer beg. You become. And that, sister, is a story worth living. So here's where you are, at the threshold of a new beginning. Maybe you're still hurting. Maybe you're still tempted to reach out, to beg, to explain. That's okay. Healing is messy. Progress is not a straight line. But promise yourself this, you won't abandon yourself again, not for anyone, not for love, not for the hope of being chosen. From this day forward, your energy, your worth, your happiness belong to you. Invest in your dreams. Cultivate your strength. Build the life that excites you. If anyone wants to join you on that journey, let it be because they see your value, not because you convince them. And if you ever feel alone, remember, there's a world of women walking this same path, reclaiming their power one day at a time. Share your story. Inspire others. The pain you feel today is the wisdom you'll pass on tomorrow. Now I ask you, At what moment in this journey did you realize your story was about to change? Which lesson did you need to hear most? Your words may be the light for someone else's darkness. Comment below, and let's build a community where no woman ever has to beg for her worth again.